Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ha'arakah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Musa and Ruel. And Shalom to the hopeful elect. It's Payala at the GMS London camp with news and prophecy and news. It's an article from Zero Hedge, which reads, Rich people and journalists made exempt from having to enter the CV quarantine in UK. All right? So, hey, from the title, I ain't read this article, I'm doing it impromptu. But from the title, it gives you the idea that this is the main reason why I really want to delve into this article, that this whole CV19 isn't about a health risk. It's about establishing rules upon the grounds of who benefits from them the most, right? So it reads, journalists and rich people defined as high-value business travelers, see, will be made exempt from having to enter a 2-week CV quarantine when they return to the UK under new rules announced by the government. Now, mind you, we had what did we have? We had we're the first country to get. You had one of the MPs bragging about the UK is the first to have the vaccine, but now you got them establishing that there's gonna be, I know there's a word for it, but I'm not aware of it. But basically establishing rules based upon the grounds of who's high value, basically, within society, all right? And mind you, don't think those journalists are any random journalists. These are journalists that are in cahoots with the system, all right? That are going to be basically fact-checking all information that they don't want to go out, basically, all right? So it says, from 4 a.m. on Saturday, people in a number of categories will no longer have to self-isolate upon returning to England, even if they are travelling from a country not on a travel corridor list, reports Sky News. Those categories include journalists, high-value business travellers, performing arts professionals, and wealthy sports stars. So you can see that it's based what establishes the grounds whereupon you don't have to quarantine no more, all right? Which somehow magically CV19 can't affect you because you're a high-value member of society. And what determines if you're of high value, basically if you have high value within a society of this beast system to basically push forward their agenda, all right? Remember they had an article come out where they said they're going to utilize celebrities, all right, or influencers to basically push forward the vaccine, all right? So that lets you know that there's going to be a line that's going to separate the people, basically. Under current rules, anyone returning from a country not on the UK's travel corridor list has to self-isolate at home for 14 days or face escalating fines, all right? Public Health England said the new measures will not raise the risk of domestic transmission of CV19, all right? Which doesn't make no sense, all right? Because if I'm not an athlete, all right, and I come back from one of the same country as an athlete that doesn't have to quarantine, guess what? I got a quarantine, all right? So why is it when they come, the transmission rate isn't gonna go up, but when I was to come, for example, it will, all right? And see, people should have fell for the banana in the tailpipe when they started saying that BAME, what they call BAME or Black, Asian, and ethnic minorities, basically was singled out as the ones with the worst transmission rate. They should have seen the banana in the tailpipe from then. But guess what? Fear ruled their mindset, okay? Because if they can determine these things based upon the grounds of, I mean, not even that, there's other points to really highlight that they were lying excuse me, I don't have an example right at this moment. But basically, this just shows you that there's no real as I said before, if if an individual travels from the same place as as an athlete or a celebrity or a journalist or someone deemed of high value to society, what's the difference between the domestic transmission rate between them and an individual that's not of high value, right? So it says new business traveler exemptions from 4 a.m. Saturday, 5th December. High value business travelers will no longer need to self isolate when returning to England from a country not in travel corridor, allowing more travel to support the economy and jobs conditions apply. All right. So obviously that's probably you have to go through an application process to go through that. And remember, all these means of business are being separated. Right. For example, as well, a quick point, like the condition of pubs being opened, they have to serve hot food, and it can't be no sandwiches or peanuts or crisps. You know, it has to be a meal. All right. And then guess who's the only people that serve meals? Weatherspoons, all right, which Weatherspoons is a chain, a business chain, a business group, like a business that's basically gone around for the past odd couple of decades or whatnot, basically buying out pubs all up and down the country, right, and turning it into the McDonald's, like a franchise of pubs, right, and they're in cahoots with Parliament, the government over here. So in doing so, they've lobbied for a position to be the main pub for underneath the government, and that's why those restrictions are being set in place so that they can have the advantage, right? And in doing so, obviously, the government can then keep tabs on all the people, all right? So you can see they're establishing a blockchain, all right? The beast system's being established by monopolizing and building a monolith system whereby they can overlook everything. And they're not actually outright saying, look, you lot can't do business no more. What they're doing is they're basically setting up conditions as and where the only people that can establish those conditions can basically conduct business are the people that they're in cahoots with, all right? So anyway, the rule change is being pitched as a way to help boost the economy, but many responded by framing it as a classic example of elitist privilege, which it really is. We are being governed by absolute fools, clowns, and charlatans. If I'm rich enough to afford business class, I'm immune to CV19, asked a Twitter user. One rule for us and another for all the little people. And this is going to be the main crux or footing that's going to establish race wars, okay? It's also going to establish class wars. It's going to establish all forms of warfare amongst the people, right? Because what's happening is the elites of this society are basically utilizing the old tactic of divide and conquer. Shrewd move just when trust and social cohesion is needed, remarked another. What a load of rubbish. You mean those well-off don't need to follow quarantine measures, said another. There will be some big businesses that are able to take advantage of it, said Paul Charles. All right. Chief Executive of Travel Consultancy, the PC agency, underscoring once again how the rules favour large transitional corporations with small businesses continue to go bust. All right, because they want to X out the small businesses, because again they're establishing the beast chain, the blockchain of the beast system, right? So read that scripture. Close video. Ah, see, it's right there. Okay. So this is Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgressive by wine, he is a proud man. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desirous hell, and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied, and gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right, let me read that again, because the point is, I'm going to read from 5 to 8, and I'm going to break it down as I go along. All right, so it says, yea, also, because he transgressive by wine, he is a proud man. This is talking about the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, all right, starting, but headed by the elites, all right, more than anything. Because really, even I could say down to the lesser luminaries, they have no clue whatsoever is really going on. The elites are in the know. They're the ones that really understand that they're the Edomites, right? And even though you have the less, really, every so-called white person benefiting from the system because it's through the establishment of Esau's rule, they're not really benefiting to the degree that Esau, to the degree the elites are, because true to their nature, being the nature of the devil, they're basically, and as I'm gonna read, or as I'm reading, they're greedy, all right? They want it all for themselves. They're not actually piecing off all of their people, okay? So it says, yea, also because he transgressive by wine, and that wine that he transgressive by is by wicked doctrines, okay? And really delving into sorcery and witchcraft. And you had them brothers in the main camp, they went down to Stonehenge, and that's on the ley line, all right? And ley lines have bring about great means of power or energy, all right? And you can utilize it. You can utilize it to the left-hand side or the right-hand side. Like, for example, it being utilized on the right-hand side is Jacob's ladder, all right? And you also had an angel that came down into a water. It tells you in the book of Acts, I believe, where he came down and disturbed the water, and whoever run into the water first would be healed, right? So you have special places where you have spiritual things going on, right? And ley lines are basically a means for entering to things of that nature, but now they've utilized it on the left-hand side to push a satanic vibration upon the earth, all right? So that's part of them transgressing with wine, all right? So it says he is a proud man, all right? Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desirous hell. So he doesn't stay at home, all right? Because his home really is Mount Petra, okay? But Esau's basically gone and basically collected, was as it goes on to say, collected many people and lands unto himself and named them after his own names, okay? Who enlargeth his desirous hell and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Right, and in doing so, as it tells you in the book of Malachi 1 and 4, it tells you wherever he established himself shall be known as a border of wickedness. Right, so that's why it says, who enlargeth his desirous hell and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied. All right, because he's greedy, and all the people have been heaped unto himself. And that's going to be really personified or really be done in these last days. That's why he's establishing this system through the CV19. All right, because what he wants to do is have all the people chipped to have the mark and have total control over them, so he can heap all the people unto himself. All right, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taught in proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? All right, and even you can have his own brother, all right, which are the Russians, which are going to say the same thing. All right, according to the Most High prophecy, he's put hooks in their jaws to basically turn them back to that old spirit of the Cold War, all right? Alongside with all the proxies, and even the European nations are going to be against America, okay? Which is to their own fool, okay? So it says, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Now, the word there for thick clay is aibachia, which basically means debt, okay? And that's why you're having great inflation happen, and they want to change. Well, even you look into America's debt and the world's debt. The debt is unpayable, okay? But they're using that as a means to establish a new system, being a beast system, right? Shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city, and of all that dwell therein. All right, and that's basically what's gonna happen ultimately. Right, you're gonna have these people like you had in the article. You had people that are basically saying one rule for the rich and one rule for the poor, for us basically. That's on one level it's gonna happen, but ultimately it's gonna happen by the means of World War III, in which Yahweh Shai is gonna make his return. So with that, man, that's the video. I pray you were edified. Until the next one.